Let's just do this thing.
Oh, God.
What's up, everybody? It's me, San Martin. And guess what? I am here at the Executive Studios in Prescott, Arizona. And we are, once again, talking to people that are doing something in our community. And this girl right here is definitely going to be the one that you want to talk to because guess what? She has something that you guys want to talk about. But you're going to have to wait for it because we have to start it with this. Oh shit. Sorry guys. Started again. I'm following have you ever done what do you call that?
Juggling?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
You-
juggling.
I'm
not very good at it.
Okay, I was gonna
Yeah.
say, have you ever done it before?
Lots of hand-eye coordination, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw this one girl. Okay, so but we should go off a tangent.
Yeah.
So everybody, you know how I like to do it. I like to show up and come to the table and start talking about things that are happening in our community. But this is a very most like the most important thing anyone should be watching. So if you're watching, make sure you stay till the end because there's a lot of great communication going on right between us. So without further ado, tell everybody who you are and what makes you famous.
Yeah, so I'm Dr. Amy Dow. I'm a veterinarian. I do mostly emergency at Yavapai Emergency Animal Hospital, and then now urgent care at Urgent Pet Prescott.
Okay, so how do you spell your first name?
It's AMIE.
AMIE. It's so crazy because I have a friend that spells her name AMYEE.
Oh, wow. There's a lot of different spellings. Yes.
Okay, so AMYIE.
IE.
Because I'm going to put it on the screen right now because San Martin. Oh my gosh! I tell you what, guys, it's been a really, honestly, a good morning, but at the same time, I'm all like, wow, because there's so much going on this weekend, and I just have to, cope with some of this stuff. So, tell everybody a little bit about what's going on with the new business that's happening in Prescott, Arizona.
Yeah. So, at the beginning of this year, end of December, beginning of January, we opened Urgent Pet Prescott, which is here for the community, for your beloved furry friends to bring in for any urgent care needs that you need your pet to be seen.
And I've been hearing a lot of cool things online where I just took our pet there. Unfortunately, it's for a bad reason. It's not because they want to go ahead and come say hi.
Yeah.
But they found a great a place to go over the weekend. And the reason why it's so important is because veterinarians are is it called veterinarians or vet?
Yes.
Vet spots are closed throughout the weekends.
Well, some of them are open, but there's a couple that are closed, and then it's just getting in for an emergent appointment can be a little bit difficult.
Like somebody just said they did photos of you, just of the beautiful facility.
Oh, yeah.
Who did that? Who was it? So, because they're Facebook user, that's what it's showing. It actually happens. And they said there was sweet staff too.
Yep, we did that at our emergency facility. So we did that at Yavapai Emergency Animal Hospital.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
When you start actually wanting to go ahead and promote to the community, it actually it's kind of like weird because everybody in Prescott starts talking about each other. They're just like, oh, dude, you should go there. And that's all I hear online about you guys. And so I'm like really happy to be supportive of what you guys got going on over there. So tell a little bit about kind of the stuff that you see over the weekends.
Yeah. So normally on the weekends, we'll see anywhere from what's going to happen is spring's coming out, right? So the sun's coming out, it's starting to warm up. So we're seeing a lot more itchy pets. So allergies are coming out, ear infections, torn, like when your pet tears their claw, abscesses. Pets like to get abscesses.
Yeah. One of the things that I was actually noticing that, during like the growth or, ground stuff, such as those goat heads. We call them goat heads. And then they call those things
foxtails.
Foxtails. And there was another stuff for long-haired dogs. And it's a little weed that grows in our yards. So how can we prevent any of that? And if something does happen to our dog, what can you do to help it at home if possible?
If possible. So if possible, I mean, the best thing is that when they pick these up, because obviously we've had a lot of moisture. So we're going to have a lot of those plants that start to emerge. And so when you take your pet out on trails or even in your yard, when they start to pick them up, if they've got hair that's like Velcro, it's good to kind of, if you can, examine your pet's feet and fur and remove those. That's always a good option. It's a little more difficult in the ear. Because if they get in the ear canal, I don't want you messing around with that. I want you to bring them to me, and we'll take it out for you.
Okay, so worst case scenario, if it gets in the ear, what? I mean, obviously, they bring it to you, but what do you do? How do you stop that?
So it depends. A lot of dogs, you can imagine their hearing, right? So they have like a huge spectrum of hearing compared to ours. And so a lot of times, some dogs will just let us use an otoscope and pull it out. But a lot of times we do have to give them a little bit of sedation because they hear it. They hear you coming into their ear.
Like, get away from me.
Yeah. And there are times too with those little plants can rupture the eardrum. And so in those cases, that's painful. And so they need to be restrained chemically in order to get it out.
You know what's really painful is those goat heads. Oh
when you step on them? Yeah.
Yeah, you guys, don't get me wrong. I think everybody in Prescott Valley, Chino Valley, all know about goat heads. And you guys can actually be ahead of the game because if you start seeing them sprout, you can start either, killing them or start pulling them. Because those things are bad. And I guess a couple ways to acknowledge that your dog has some sort of irritation is if they're constantly
chewing, licking, and then if it's in the ear, head shaking or trying to scratch at their ear are good clinical signs to look for.
Yeah, and if you don't get it right away, it feels like they do too much scratching, and then all of a sudden their ears are bleeding and stuff like that.
Yes, then you get secondary problems. Then you get secondary infections in their skin or in their ears from those.
And ultimately that's kind of brings flies and stuff like that. One of the things that I was noticing in Prescott is ticks. Big there's ticks everywhere, right? Or
so it used to be years ago that there's still people that still say, hey, we don't have fleas and ticks here, but we've had such a shift in our weather and moisture that we're seeing more fleas and ticks that are popping in.
Jeez.
Yep.
So how can you prevent this stuff?
Yeah. So most local veterinarians will recommend a monthly or every 3 month flea and tick prevention, whether it's topical or oral.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So when we talk about preventative maintenance, I think that every pet owner out there might want to go ahead and have a little bit of this preventative maintenance. What is a couple of things you could do for long-haired dogs that will, obviously go out to the yard and get involved in all that stuff? Do you cut their hair back, or do you kind of section off a spot for them so you don't have those issues? What do you do with that?
Yeah, I guess it depends on the type of hair and the type of dog. Some dogs, their long hair is meant to prevent it from things getting to the skin. And so you don't want to trim it too far back, because you want to keep it in the hair and not get to the skin. And so I think it depends on the hair, but a lot of dogs, if you regularly brush them and kind of comb them, especially after they've been out and about on the trails, or if you have an unkempt yard, which keeping up on your yard these days is going to be difficult because we've had so much moisture.
Yes.
That you're going to have these problems. And so as far as grooming them back, like I said, it depends on the dog. Like some of the dogs that have really, really, really curly hair, you probably want to keep that trimmed back. Just because it can get really matted.
Yeah, we had a dog, and her name was Luna, and she was a golden doodle, but she was dark, haired dog. But this was one of the issues. She would go outside, and there was these little things that are kind of I don't even know what they are, but they're a weed, and she had so many of them.
Yep.
And it started causing, what do you call those dreadlocks? And I was like, dude, how do you do that all in one day? It's so crazy how bad those things get natted in. But I did find a good comb that combed it all out.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it was really nice. It was like the metal ones.
Oh, yeah, those are good combs.
Yeah, the metal ones were good combs. And she would just lay there it's time to get beautified. Because you had to, every leg, every paw, both ears, and
her beard.
Yeah, her beard. Her beard. They would all have to get combed out. Oh my gosh, I'm having PTSD with this. I'm I'm gonna have to take her in the street to go to the bathroom where there's no freaking thing.
Don't get in the grass.
Yeah, don't get in this grass. So okay, so springtime is here. This is something that is there anything that's newer that's going to be like for pet owners? What is something to like look forward to, or look like, hey, watch out for this during springtime?
I think it's just going to be, I think what we're going to see more of is like, just because we did have more moisture than I think regular years, is that I think we're going to see a lot more fleas than we expect.
Oh,
Maybe some ticks here and there, but I think a lot more fleas. And so I think if your pet isn't on a flea and tick preventative, that would be something to consider, because fleas, they're easy to prevent, and you can treat them, but they do cause secondary issues because they start scratching and then you get secondary skin infections, things like that. But I think we're going to see a lot more fleas this year.
So preventative maintenance, say that one more time. What can you do to help out?
Flea and tick prevention.
And how do they find that stuff?
Yeah.
Do they come in and talk with you, or can you guys provide it?
They can. So we just treat them on the spot. So in our urgent care facility and our ER, we just kind of treat them on the spot. We want to kill them on the spot. But that's when you want to get into if you can, discuss with your regular veterinarian what kind of preventatives I should be on. There are some over-the-counter ones. You just need to be really careful and read them and make sure that they are safe, because there are a couple of flea and tick preventatives out there that are harmful to cats. So we need to kind of be a little bit aware of that.
Talk about a balance right
Yeah.
there.
So
a cat and dog. So what does it do to the cats?
It can cause some neurological things. And so we just have to be really
gosh.
cognizant of that. Yeah.
Gotta keep them separated.
Keep them separated.
We don't want to hear that. We love our pets. We want to keep them together. So I guess, once again, it's all about education. Where can they find all this information in general?
As it depends. Like, we'll probably put a little bit of a post probably about fleas then out there, or flea and tick preventative on our page, on our Facebook page. Just reaching out to your veterinarian, or even just having that phone call is a good thing. But, if you do regular well checks with your local or your family veterinarian, you can have those discussions.
That is so amazing. I'm going to go ahead and put up on the screen real quick all of this stuff that we're talking about. And I want you guys to understand that Urgent Pet Care Prescott has specific hours currently right now. And there's supposed to be new hours coming up, right?
Yeah, coming up in May. So in May, you just have to wait one more month. We're going to be 7 days a week. But currently we're just Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So just hitting up that weekend, end of the week, beginning of the weekend, and the weekend from 10 to 7.
That is so cool. So you want to give a shout out to anybody out there? Anybody else? What up? How you doing, G Money? Just kidding. All right. Well, I know you got so many things to do today, so we're going to go ahead and close this out. But if you guys could go ahead and find them at 928-421-4838. Let me go ahead and put that on the screen right now, because I can. I'm actually going to put it into the comments, because that's how we roll around here. Boom. Boom. Urgent care. You only for business, guys. Only for business. So with that being said, tell everybody once again how to go ahead and get a hold of you.
Well, you can always call us. You can call either that number. I think that number will direct you to our ER. There's somebody available 24/7 if on the phone to get a hold of us. If you can't get through on that number, our other number is our ER, which is the 928-460-7282.
All right, my friends and family, if you guys heard it here first, if you guys want to know more, please reach out to them. We're going to post all the links, and also the phone numbers are in the comments. So with that being said, I'm out of here. We got things to do. You got things to do. So yeah, peace out. Bye.